best friend. Tiff, I need somebody to come on with me. What? I'll be down there. You don't have to come down here. You just gotta be on your phone. Well, I didn't order my salad. Okay. Hello. Hi, guys. We are live now, finally. This is my first time streaming to YouTube and the Divine Feminine. So let me just let everybody know that I am on. And let me go to my real page and let everybody know that I am on. Hold on, my sister. I'm actually at my sister's house, y'all. And I don't have that much time, so I want to get this information to y'all really quickly. You know, so that you guys let's see. If you hear the little bells, it's my sister dog, okay? Crazy. Just too much. But we are gonna get into some good stuff today, y'all. I am going to be talking about, don't be down here whining or you gotta go. Okay? Because like we're not doing that today. We're going to be talking about my journey and how this all came about. All right. And I kind of just want you guys to get an insight into me. Trust me. If you want to ask questions, please go into the chart. Say hello. Hi, Joanna. Hey, Ash. How y'all doing today? I am super excited to see y'all and really get into this information today. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be let in, I'm sitting at my sister's nail table, y'all. She's trying to be dope and do nails now. Like, where since when? Okay, since when, Tiff? Normally, like, I have my little thing propped up, so I might have to get a little higher for y'all today because I don't understand what's going on with this table. This is my first time here, but I like her little background. This is nice. Okay. Let me see if I can put, you know, I'm about to be up in here messing stuff up, y'all. Hold on. For a second. Ooh. I'm about to use, not me, about to use somebody's Bible that got dust on it. Who ain't been reading their Bible? Okay. It got mad dust on it. I'm about to dust it off of them. They bugged out. There we go. A little higher. I want the glare from my glasses, but I need it for the blue light. Okay, either way, let's go. All right, y'all. So I am going to tell y'all a little bit about my story. We are going to get into it today. So first and foremost, right? I am a Christian woman. However, I don't always identify. And the reason why is because sometimes Christians embarrass me. All right, y'all? No shade, not trying to be funny, but it embarrassed me sometimes. And the reason why is because of the judgment that happens in the church. The reason why is because of the what goes on with ministry. And you know, I am the epitome of church hurt, and I will tell you why. Not because of the church though, because of the people in it. So I want you guys to know I'm a Christian, but I identify as a metaphysician. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. So I got my notes here. Y'all know what I got in. So certain things I'm going to post up here. So a metaphysician is someone that deals and works with in the philosophy of thought, the principle of things, and universal laws. That is how I live my life. I no longer live my life by saying that there is a God in the sky that's controlling everything. I never believed that. Even when I was a Christian, my parents never taught that. My parents were non-denominational Christians, so they taught that the power lied within us. When God died on the cross, he gave the power to us. The laws are here and we have to abide by them. That is how I grew up. So essentially, I grew up as a metaphysician. I did not grow up as a normal Pentecostal or I'm sorry, my sister dog is acting up. I'm just let her sit here. I did not grow up as a regular Pentecostal or Baptist Christian. I grew up knowing that we had the power because God already gave it to us. Once he left, died on the cross, we had the power. There was no more power that lied within heaven. The power always lied within us, okay? And so that is what I learned. Callie, you gotta go, okay? Say hi to the people and then say bye, okay? Goodbye. We love you, but your little fat self gotta go, okay? So that is how I grew up. And so it wasn't really strange that I went back to those roots as I got older, right? Metaphysics deals with laws, manifestation, and the nature of reality. But it also deals with possibility, change, space, time, causation of things. And this all starts with thought, okay? So how things change, how things evolve, how things move, that all starts with your thought, all right? Callie, get down. So let me just speak to these universal laws a little bit today. But I promise you guys, listen, I promise you this. If I have never let you down, don't let me start letting you down now, okay? I promise you this. If you start to abide by these universal laws, you will see significant change in your life. It is no longer going to be the woe is me. Why is this happening to me? What is going on? You are going to become so aware. You are going to become so transparent. The things that begin to happen in your life are going to show themselves in such a way that you're going to be like, oh my God, I know exactly why this is happening. And then you won't worry. Everybody at my job calls me #unbothered. Because it doesn't matter what happens in my life, I'm never bothered by it. I am never upset about it. I am never like worried, like, oh my God, what's happening next? What's happening next? Hey, Joanna. Hey, Paulette. Guys, you know I can't see your name, so please let me know who you are once you enter into the chat, okay? So let me talk a little bit about my life very, very quickly, okay? As a young girl, I grew up in church, as we all did. My parents, on the other hand, were not just in church, they were pastors. So we grew up, my brother and I grew up as pastors' children. My sister did not. By the time my sister was 10 years old, my parents had stopped the church and had evolved into full-time relationship coaching. Hey, Toya. My parents had evolved into full-time relationship coaching. So my sister did not grow up as a pastor's child. My brother and I did. Okay. So, it was different. Also, if you have any questions for me, please do not hesitate to put it in the chat once I start going into these universal laws. So my brother and I, pastor's kids, cannot get away with anything. Don't have sex before marriage. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. You are embarrassing the church. Okay. So we did not embarrass the church. We lived our lives the best way that we possibly could. My sister, her heavy-footed self. You sound like a T-Rex walking down here. Like you got baby arms and big thighs.
That's why I'm about to order a salad.
Because you sound so heavy.
Doctor and no.
Yeah, I hear her talk so she got about to order a salad. She did sound like a T-Rex walking down here. So we're gonna talk about my life very quickly. So I was in church, parents, ushers, usher board. My husband was in charge of music ministry. I was in charge of dance ministry and book ministry, as you can see. I also was in charge of a sector of our church called Healing Hearts, which was basically the counseling ministry for women. So I was in charge of that. I ran that with my mother and another young lady that shall remain nameless because we don't talk today. But I will get into all of that pretty soon. So we ran that. So I got certified by the association, the National Association of Christian Counseling. I got certified 3 times to be a certified Christian counselor, y'all. So your girl is a nationally certified Christian counselor, and I have been since about 2008 or 7. My parents ran their church very non-denominationally. They loved the Lord, was very much into their Christianity. However, there was some craziness that happened that went down in our church. We had a lot of young people in our church, a lot of young leaders, and with young leaders, you have young people problems. So here's the thing. As I'm talking about this, please do not think that I am hurt. Please do not think that I have angst or animosity against anyone. I do not. It is long gone. It is long over, and I am okay. I've made peace with it, and I've made peace with God. So my parents had a ministry. I ran a dance ministry with another young woman who shall remain nameless. And my husband, who was a leader in the church, had a music ministry. And this woman, who was my best friend, who also led dance ministry along with me, my husband and her decided to have an affair. Okay. So I was taught to be a wife from a very young age. My parents never pushed college on us. They never pushed education. We just happened to be smart. But my father basically was like, listen, you can go to school, but you don't have to go to college. They never really pushed be this, be that, be this, be that. As a matter of fact, marriage was more pushed for us than anything else. So I was married at the tender age of 19 years old, and lived my life like a married woman from the age of 19. Never went to a club, never really drank, never really did anything that everybody else that was 19 was doing. Had my first son at 20, had my other son at 24. So it really wasn't enough time for me to be out here in these streets and for the streets, should I say. But what I will say is my husband had an affair with this young lady. It had went on for a few months before I found out. I found out from another leader in the church who felt like she couldn't be under my ministry without telling me and knowing what she knew. She felt terrible, even though the woman that he was having an affair with was her niece. So she told my mother. My mother then decided to take the phone and call me and say, hey, you sitting down when you get this information? I sat down. She told me her husband's having an affair. I asked him. He denied it and kind of admitted it. I didn't see him for 2 whole weeks. She left the church, never to be heard from again. Her husband stayed at the church. They ended up having some things to work out. They shortly later got divorced. My husband and I did not get divorced. But what I will say is that the resentment ate our relationship alive, y'all. Okay? When I say it ate it apart at the seams, it did. I could not go anywhere because, listen, I'm 19, I'm 20, and I wear a size 4 still. I am like hot. Guys are trying to get at me. And I got this husband that had an affair with my best friend who I never talked to again, who I never saw. It was all so devastating. So I ended up having a lot of resentment, and all it did was bring other things to light. Needless to say, I loved my husband, but I could not stay with him. If I was older now, would I have made a different decision in that area? Probably so. But at that age and at that juncture, being about 24 years old, 25 years old, I just was not in a place to be like, every time I go to sleep, every time I think about it. I didn't think about it a lot, but there were other things that he slacked in that kind of amplified that. Like, had that never happened, I would have been dealing with other things anyway, but it's neither here nor there. So this caused the church to end because it caused a rift in the church. These were leaders that had affairs with each other. So what that said under my parents' leadership was that their leaders was wilding. They were up in arms. There were some that moved out of state. And eventually my parents were like, you know what? We're going to focus on relationship coaching now. So they ended up shutting their church down and focusing on becoming relationship coaches, which my father will be a guest on one of my shows, one of my podcasts soon. And that's what they focused on. But what I will say is this. there is a short story that I have to say. I met my husband while I was married to my first husband. Didn't know who he was, didn't understand it, but I was at a fashion show for my grandmother. And this is why I say universal laws are always in play. I was at a fashion show for my grandmother. My son, oh, it's music playing while I'm talking? Y'all, let me get this out of here. Hold on. Let me get this out of here. And I don't know who said that, but thank you. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Bet, is everything right? Let me know in the chat, because I don't know. Who is talking to me? Because I don't know who y'all are. But you said it's cute. Thank you. I don't want music to be playing because this isn't a music playing story unless it's violins, y'all. Who is it? I just got on. Who is this? Tell me. Oh, y'all want me to turn it back on? I'll turn it back on for a second, okay? Hold on. I'll turn it low. Okay, here we go. So, my parents, see the music, y'all got me messed up now. So, put the music back on. You're so aggy. Just stay upstairs. Like, what are you doing? So anyway, oh, it was flowing. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go on ahead and listen to my peoples because I trust y'all. Okay, y'all can hear it again now. It's back on. All right. I know it's YouTube because it's always you. Get on it. So anyway, the laws are always in place. Let me tell you how. So I was at a fashion show for my grandmother, and my son was 6 weeks old. He was being held by my grandfather. I walked to the bathroom. As I walked to the bathroom, I saw this, oh my God, this good looking man. And I was like, oh my God, he looks so good. He looked at me. He stopped his conversation with another guy. He looked at me. He smiled. He said, hey, how you doing? And I said, hey, how you doing? I got in the bathroom, and all I remember is that my palms were sweating. I was sweating, and I felt like I was going to pass out. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, who was that guy? And the reason I said that is because my body felt like I knew him. Felt like I knew him from somewhere else. Like I knew him from before. But I was married. So I was like, oh God, I can't be feeling like this about another man. So I ended up going back, sitting in my seat, never mentioned him again. I would sneak and look at my father watching videos of church, hoping I would get a glimpse of him. Never saw him again. My husband and I were getting separated. We were separated for about 8 months when I went to go work at another job. When I worked at this job, my students were saying, oh my God, miss, there's this man you need to see. You're the only person that can bag him. I'm like, y'all, I don't bag men. That's number one. And number two, I don't even know who this guy is. So I'm not trying to meet no guy. Like, it's just not the time. They're like, miss, I promise you need to meet him. His name is Smooth. I'm like, who the heck is Smooth? Like, that's weird. So anyway, I end up going to get a job interview. When I get the job interview, I'm talking to the woman, and she says, oh, look, here's Timothy now. And I look, and I'm like, and she's like, we're going to do a demo at your school. I get to the school. She's like, you can follow us if you want. I get to the school. The students was like, oh my God, miss, that's Smooth. Lo and behold, when I saw him turn the corner, my knees went weak because I was like, oh my God, that's that guy. It was the same guy that I had saw at my grandmother's fashion show. At this point, it was about 8 years prior, and I had never saw him again. So I was like, oh my God, like I am about to get this man because I have been low-key subconsciously thinking about him for years. So I like to think that I manifested him because I didn't know him from anywhere, like a can of paint. So anyway, I meet him 8 months in. My husband and I were long separated. We ended up getting divorced, and my husband and I started going to church. At that point, he wasn't my husband then, he was my boyfriend, but we started going to church. I ended up watching The Secret. Now, guys, I watched The Secret a few times before, but this time when I watched it, I was very intrigued, so to say. So as I'm watching it with him, because I was the one that invited him to watch it, I looked at the names of the people that were in the videos, and it would say BSc or DD or DDD, and I was like, what are these titles? What do they mean? And when I searched them up, it said Bachelor of Metaphysical Science, or it meant metaphysician, or it meant Doctor of Divinity. So there were certain things that I was like, whoa, wait, I need to know what these people are, because this resonates more with me than what I have been learning in church all these years. Actually, if you are really deep into church and you really know your Bible, everything that you learn in metaphysics only makes more sense after you know your Bible. So we watched The Secret. I then enrolled into school, University of Metaphysics. My husband and I enrolled together. He became a Doctor of Divinity, and I became a holistic life coach with a bachelor's in holistic life coaching, a master's in metaphysics, and the focus is on relationships. So that is how I became who I am. Now, I might not be able to finish this today because I actually have a client at 6. However, I want to get y'all some of this information that I know. So we are going to get into a little bit of the universal laws today, okay? So I have the first one. This one is the law of divine oneness, y'all. So what this means is everything and everyone is connected. Every choice, word, action, and belief will have an impact on this world. So I could be thinking something, my sister could be thinking something. If we think collectively on it for a long enough amount of time, it is going to show itself in this world and the people in our life, since everything is interconnected. I am connected to her, she's connected to me, we're connected to the people at our job, we are connected to the people at the bus stop. Everybody and everything is connected. This is why you cannot do something to someone without doing it to yourself. People don't understand. It kind of sounds a lot like the law of you sow, reap what you sow, or do unto your brother as you would like done to you. These laws are all the same. They are all based on the law of divine oneness. All right. Now, what we need to realize is the impact is immediate and obvious sometimes. So sometimes what we think and what we do is immediate. We see the repercussions right away. Whoa, but sometimes it takes a while to manifest, and you don't realize that you took part in it. So a lot of things that are happening in our lives, we don't realize it was a result of an action or a thought that we could have done years ago. And we just don't correlate it because we don't remember what it is that we even did. Yeah, I dropped some. So now we're not taking accountability. We're like, why is this happening to me? What is going on? Why is my life like this? I don't get it. The reason your life is like that is because of something you did. It was you. It was nobody else but you. You just don't remember the seed that you planted 5 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Seeds have to bear fruit. It doesn't matter the amount of time. If the season is right and the weather is right and the watering of the seed is right, it is going to bear fruit. So a lot of times we don't want things to bear fruit because we done did it to somebody and we wouldn't want that same thing done to us, but it's too late. We've done it. So if you do something to someone, you may as well be doing it to yourself. So if I go, this is why I live my life a certain way. I don't steal from people. I don't rob people. I don't talk about people. I don't want to gossip about people. I don't want to get into people's business and spread their business. I don't want to do any of that because guess what? I don't want any of that coming back to me. So if we just lived our life like that on a daily basis, like if you don't want it done to you, don't do it to somebody else, then we would all be in a better place. That is what this law is about. And it is very familiar to the law of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Again, everything is all interconnected. All right. So our second law is the law of vibration or energy. According to this law, every particle in the universe is in constant movement and it constantly carries energy. Everything has its own energy and its own frequency. That's why a lot of people be like, I don't believe in crystals. That's the devil. It's just a frequency. Everything in the world has one. This desk has one. This computer has one. These ring lights have one. Your body has one. Somebody else's body has another. Everybody's body operates in the law of energy. If there was no energy in our bodies, we wouldn't be alive. So the law of vibration or energy is what keeps everything in this world moving and flowing. Without it, we wouldn't be here. So I know a lot of Christians that, oh, it's demonic. Everything's demonic to Christians. Can y'all stop? Because everything's not demonic. There are certain things that are just laws. It has nothing to do with the devil. It's just the fact that it's here and it's laws. And you might just have a good life if you follow them. You might like Project 369 if you haven't read it already. I do actually have that. My boss bought it for me for my birthday. I bought myself one. I bought my sister one. I mean, mine's burned up. So if anybody want to bless me with another one, that would be nice. Because mine's are both burnt up. But yeah, so law of vibration or energy, it is everywhere. All right. High energy particles are naturally attuned to other high energy particles. So if you're a person of high energy, if you're a person of positivity, you're going to be drawn to people that have positivity. And guess what? People with negative energy are going to repel you because your energies are not the same. Your particles are not alike. So you're never going to align, whether you're in the same room, the same business or whatever, you're just not going to align. Even our thoughts and our feelings have their own vibrational particles, and they connect to those with similar vibrational patterns. So if my thoughts are negative, think about it. You ever thought about it when you thought a negative thought, right? You think of something negative, then all of a sudden another negative thought comes, then another negative thought comes, and they all interconnected. They all are around about the same thing. But once it gains momentum, it gains momentum. So what you have to do is try to switch your negative thoughts to positive thoughts so that you can change the law of your vibration or energy. That's the only way to change it, is by your thoughts. Your thoughts are what's going to produce the particles around you to either move slowly or move more fast. But that part is up to you. Then that's why people don't understand why they get into a room and they don't vibe or like certain people. It's not because they just don't like them. It's because your energies are not aligned. And as long as something's not in alignment, it is never going to click. It is never going to flow. All right. So then we have our next law, which is the law of correspondence. All right. So this is directly related to the fact that we are in control. Every action will be reflected in our outer world. This law also suggests for us to look for patterns in our life. So a lot of times we don't look for patterns. We don't look for the things that we consistently do. We don't look for the things that consistently happen to us. We don't look for the things that we're like, oh, wait, that happened before. Why did that happen again? We don't take the time to sit and actually sit in silence and self-evaluate. Look for the patterns in your life because they are corresponding with something that you're sending out. But if you don't realize that you're sending it out and you're one of those people that are called unintentional unintentional creators. There's deliberate creators and there's unintentional creators. And unintentional creators are the ones that are thinking, doing stuff, and not thinking about repercussions and what happens next. You're constantly only thinking about what you're doing in the now. Everything that you are doing in the now, right here, right now, is going to affect 2 years in your future. So if you are doing something, you rob somebody today, don't expect anything for at least 2 years. You're good for about 2 years, okay? After that, expect some recoil from it, all right? Look for the things that repeat themselves. They may be something that you're doing unconsciously or subconsciously or inadvertently. A lot of times we move subconsciously or unconsciously. We don't really realize what we're doing or how we're coming off. And these things cause certain situations to continue to repeat in our life. All right. So that's the next one. So the next one is the law of inspired action. And what this one means is, I'm just trying to glaze over these notes because I be talking more than what my notes say. But this law is all about what we do in the physical realm, right? Most people think setting goals and visualizing and writing notes and putting things in your calendar are going to bring things to fruition. And yes, those things help. However, you need to take divinely inspired action and steps in your life. Divinely inspired actions come from you being in alignment with you and with God, pretty much. You need to be in alignment with you and God. When you're in alignment with you and God, your steps are going to be ordered in the right direction. You're going to end up in the room that nobody thought you were supposed to end up in. You're going to end up having that conversation with somebody that can put your business in another place. You're going to end up talking to somebody that can give you insight into a situation and change your situation today, tomorrow, next year. The law of inspired action means being in tune with yourself and with God. And the only time, the best way that can happen, y'all, is by getting silent. But most people won't get silent because they're afraid of silence. Because silence tells you what you're doing wrong. A lot of people can't be by themselves. They can't not be in a room without the TV on. They always have to have some type of background noise. But when there's that much background noise, you can't hear yourself. So if you can't hear yourself, then you can't hear the voice of God, and you also can't take the divinely inspired steps that you need to take to get your life to where you have been praying for it to be, where you have been wanting it to be aligned for it to be. You cannot get there. That's what I had to do to start my healing, figure out why the same pattern was repeated. Absolutely, Joanna, absolutely. We have to always figure out why the same patterns are repeated in our life. There is a reason why we see things repeated for ourselves. Okay? So our next one is, let's see, we got the law of attraction. This tells us that like attracts like. So once again, like, you know how guys always be like birds of a feather flock together? They kind of not lying, because things that are alike like to be around one another. So, but this law states that in order to manifest something, people, things, circumstances in our lives, we have to vibrate at the same frequency as what it is that we want. So let's just say you're saying, oh, I want my business to be successful. I want to be a millionaire. I want to marry a high quality man. You have to vibrate at that level. And you have to act as if that is already going on. So if you're saying, I want a high quality man, get your wife skills up now while he's not here. Stop having books and the remote and cookies and snacks on the other side of the bed when it should be a man there. Because if a man was there, hey, Candy Wiley, if a man was there, you wouldn't be having snacks on the other side of the bed. Another thing is that whatever it is that you desire, you need to start aligning with it. So a lot of people don't believe it. Like, I think about money all the time. You're not thinking about money. You're not thinking about getting money. You're thinking about the lack of you having money. Because anytime you're talking about money and you say, I don't got enough, or, oh my God, gas is so high, food is so high, we're all guilty of it, myself included. So don't think I'm getting on y'all. We are all guilty of it. Oh my God, gas is like about to be $6.25 a gallon. Y'all, food. I went to buy a pack of chicken wings. I'm not joking, y'all. I really did go to buy a pack of chicken wings, and it was $21.19. Why am I paying $21.19 for like 8 chicken wings? That's crazy. I put that pack of chicken wings right back though and picked up some thighs instead, some legs. Those was like $4.98. But listen, we all talk about it all the time, and it is what it is. But at day's end, the fact remains is, if you're gonna talk about it, then you're going to keep bringing it into your life. You're going to keep bringing that into your experience. If you're going to keep talking about it, thinking about it, and saying what you don't have, you're going to only continue to get what you don't have. Even in a relationship, if you say, oh, my husband's so mean, he don't even talk to me the right way, he's not nice, he's going to continue to be mean and not talk to you and not be nice because you keep talking about it. Stop talking about it. Visualize him being a nicer person. Visualize him having more empathy and compassion. Visualize him being a better person. And I promise you, the particles will have to align so that he begins to act a certain way. Because another thing is this, which people don't know, is you choose what shows up in your experience. Nobody else chooses what shows up in your experience but you. So even when I say that about my own husband, I'm smart enough to realize that, dang, I know that I am bringing this into my experience because of my trauma. This is how he used to treat me. And so now I think about those things. And now any little thing that he does that reminds me of that, I'm triggered. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's that thing he used to do. I'm helping to actually create it. Why is this fat dog want to just be on my lap? Bye, cows. Okay. After she done gained 20 pounds, like, you don't need to be sitting on nobody's lap after you gain that much weight. So just understand that you are inviting things, people, and circumstances into your own experience. You have to stop talking negatively. You have to stop thinking negatively. You have to stop dredging your story into the ground. A lot of us do it all the time. We just keep talking about our same story, our same story. This is what happened to me. Woe is me. This happened to me. This happened to me. Y'all notice that you very rarely hear me talk about my fire, because who cares? It's over. And there was a reason that it happened. I have since tried to figure it out and came up with a small conclusion. Which it probably, she keep passing gas.
Yeah, you act like gas.
And making it seem like it's us. And it's the dogs out here wilding. Passing all types of gas.
I'm out of here.
Don't do that to her.
I'm gonna look at my
Okay, your little salad. So we don't really
Told you.
Look at the face. Here she comes. So
no, stay down here.
Don't try to keep me cooped down here with the poop. Okay. So that's what we don't understand, is that we're inviting these things into our experience. Like, we are doing it and we don't realize what we're doing. We continue to talk about it. Anytime you repeat your story, you're still in your story. You're staying in your story. Your story is going to show back up, y'all. I don't know how else to say it, but it is. If I continue to talk about what happened, like, that's why people be like, oh my God, your first husband cheated on you with your best friend. When you hear me talk about it, do you see tears? Do you see me crying? Do you hear me like, oh my God, that's my story. Bye. That was 12 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know. It's over. Happened for a reason. I'm not going to keep crying and harping about it. Yes, I cried for the first few days, first year, maybe, and then it was over. We cannot keep living in our stories. We have to let them go. Let them go, y'all. Like, let them go. They are not doing us a service by continuing to repeat them. They are not doing us a service by continuing to talk about them. They are not doing us a service by continuing to tell the world about them. All they're doing is creating more of your story, because the particles that come out of your mouth, the vibration that comes out of your mouth when you keep speaking about it, is looking for something that matches it. And the moment it finds something that matches it, it collects together. And if you get enough of them collected together, they're going to manifest in your physical experience. That's just how it works. The Bible is not a joke when it says death and life are in the power of the tongue. Again, once I became a metaphysician, it all began to make sense for me. Now I can read the Bible without fear of contradiction and be like, here it go. Here it go. When I'm looking at these universal laws, I'm like, here it is. Here it is. This is all here. It all makes sense to me. Okay? If you're still in the story, Joanna, let me give you a couple of words of advice really quickly. You have to find a way to detach from what it is and remove yourself so that you can. All right, let me give you an example. I couldn't stand my husband in 2010, but I couldn't leave the house. So what I would do is I would meditate and pray all the time, quietly by myself, and I would close my eyes and visualize a different life. And that life would make me smile, even though when I opened my eyes, the life that I saw didn't. So what I did was I did my best to make my mind my reality and not my reality my reality. Because again, this is all a facade. There is nothing that is real. Everything that we are doing in life is in flux. Nothing is in stone. You can change a person. You can change what shows up in your experience today. Now, what I will say is you cannot change a person, but you can change how they show up in your experience. And if they don't align anymore with your experience, they have to fall away. And when they fall away, it won't even be in a way that's like hurtful. It'll be in a way that's almost like ordained. Like you're okay with the loss because it's not a loss for you. So again, you got to find a way to detach yourself from that reality. Okay? The next law, let's get into it before I gotta go. We might have to do a part 2. The next law is the law of cause and effect, y'all. And this law lets us know pretty much that all of our actions have a corresponding reaction. This is very basic, y'all. This is like 1 + 1 = 2. We need to be teaching our children this. I teach my children the law of cause and effect like it's nobody's business. Like, first of all, if there is a cause, if there is a causation, there's going to be an effect. And based on another effect, there's going to be another causation. So you cannot get around this law. This law is always in play. The law of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance, and it is each of our actions that create a reaction. Is it that your action was you ignored red flags in your relationship? Reaction, here he is in the flesh doing what he's doing to you now. Is it that you didn't your cause was that you didn't create proper boundaries with the people around you and now everybody's walking all over you? Cause and effect, action and reaction. It is all the same. There is no villains and there is no blame game. Nobody is a villain in this world. If somebody does something to me, I realize that it is something in the mix that I did, something that I allowed, something that I brought by causation of thought, something that I have done physically to bring it. Nothing happens without you allowing it to happen. And that's why there's no victims or no villains. Because a victim says that you are powerless to change something. And none of us in this world are powerless to change. So there's no victims. Even when me and my husband talking, this is why people don't understand our relationship. They're like, oh my God, you guys went through so much. How are you still together? Because there's no victims and there's no villains. If a person keeps getting beat up and they stay, who's the victim and who's the villain? Is the villain the guy that keeps beating them up, or is the victim the one that won't walk away? Or are you the villain to your own self because you won't walk away? These are the hard questions that we need to ask ourselves, and nobody wants to ask ourselves. Nobody wants to take accountability for why their life is the way it is, why their situations are as such. I got married at 19. I married a young man. He was 21. His hormones was crazy. He had an affair with my best friend. He's not the villain. She's not the villain. As a matter of fact, when it happened, I asked him, what in the world did I do to cause this? Like, what? Could I have done something better? That was my real question. That was my real question. Like, could I have done something better? He said, no, this wasn't about you. It was all about me. Now, had I came to him like, no, because you know good, nigga, because you, he probably would be like, girl, bye. That's why I did it. But I didn't give him that. I gave him, is there something that I could have done better? Like, what would made you have wanted to do that? Why would you want to hurt me that bad? Like, that's kind of crazy. That's bugged out to me. Like, you call me the love of your life. We're best friends. And you would hurt me that badly? Like, dang. You know what I mean? So, like, again, there's no victims. There's no villains. Accountability is the name of the game. One of my next podcasts, if I get this finished, was going to be accountability, a male's trait that we need to take on. Because women, I have to say, we do not like accountability, y'all. We do not like people holding us to the fire. That's for sure. Hush, Callie. So nothing happens by chance. It's each of our actions that create a reaction that is followed after, and so on and so forth. Now, remember, Newton's third law of relativity is for every action there will be an equal and opposite reaction. This is not this is science, y'all. I'm not making this stuff off the top of my head. For every action, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. So for the women that be like, oh, girl, just cheat back. You fool. Why would you do that? Why? Just cheat back. You sound dumb. I am appalled at the state of our women today, but I'll get into that another time, okay? Let's get to our next law. The law of compensation. You receive what you put out, period. Period. There are things in this life that cost more than we're willing to give it, y'all. So let's say you go to a soda machine. My husband gave me this example. I actually came to the school and talked to my students. He said, let's say you're at a soda machine and the soda costs $1 and you put in 2 dimes and a nickel. What are you going to get? Nothing. Let's say you put in 2 quarters and 2 dimes. What are you going to get? Nothing. You are not going to be able to get a soda out of the machine until you put in any variation on what you can get $1 from. But in life, we always feel like we can put something in and then it just comes out. And that's not how it works, people. You cannot just be like, I put in 2 dimes, 5 nickels, and 2 quarters. I should get a soda. It's not $1. Things cost. And if you're not going to put in what it costs to get it, you're not getting it. So let's say you want a successful business. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to put in long hours? Are you willing to not get paid? Are you willing to sacrifice time away from your family? Because if you're not willing to sacrifice and give into the machine, I promise you nothing's coming out of that machine. And it will be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in, and you'll still be like, how come my business is not moving? You're not putting in what's required, period. The law of compensation says when we put in what's required, it comes out. That's it. And it comes out double fold. But if you're not even willing to put in what's required, don't expect to get anything back. It's just not going to happen. Because this is number 6, I'm going to go ahead and stop here because we have 12. But I got a client at 6, y'all, and it is 5:55, and I got to drive 5 minutes away. But I will actually, I think I'm going to finish it. I might finish it tonight, or I might finish it tomorrow. I don't know, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging, But I got a client who would not really let me take the day off today. I really wanted to take the day off so I could do this whole thing for y'all. And she was just like, is there any way I could come later? And y'all, you know how it goes. Sacrifice is the name of the game. But I really just want to thank you all for watching. And I really just want to thank you all for constantly supporting me. This is my first time actually launching it on my YouTube page because a lot of men have been wanting to watch my videos and a lot of people have been tagging men. But the Divided Feminine is a group for women and supporting your femininity. So I don't accept men into the group. So I ended up deciding to start to put some of my videos on YouTube just so that if they want the information, if they want to show their wife or their girlfriend, it's available. So I just really appreciate you guys always being up here, always supporting me, always commenting. But I am going to finish the rest of this 6, okay? So that way we could get into it. We can get into some real nitty gritty, all right? So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and until next time, all right, I love y'all. Bye.